And welcome to the Movie Madhouse. I'm Rob.
I'm James.
I'm Jason.
And our buddy today.
I'm Erin.
Yes. Welcome, Erin. How you doing?
All right. It's hot. I'm glad I have air conditioning.
It's like summer almost.
Yep. It's.
I'm not a fan of it.
I prefer to bake than freeze.
Well, yeah, there is that. So, Erin, we want to talk a little bit about something that you do, off and on, called Game On Entertainment Services.
Yeah, I haven't been able to do it for a while, but what we do is we bring video games to people's parties and events. It doesn't matter what your party event is, anything from a convention, birthday party. We even done a wedding where we had everything set up in the basement, and instead of those kids running all over the place, they were in that room playing video games.
That's brilliant.
We've got everything from all the classic systems like Atari and original Nintendo to all the new things, with the exception of the PS5 and the Xbox Series, because who can get one of those, right?
Yeah.
Except for the people who did it.
Which we now know was not Erin.
Yeah.
That is excellent.
I'm a quasi gamer when it comes to that stuff, but even I have learned you don't go for Gen 1. You never go for Gen 1. Gen 1's always clunky and glitchy. You hold out for a year, get Gen 2, and then you're golden, and the price usually comes down a couple $100.
This is true. In my business, though, it's one of those things where I need to have it. However, with no events going on right now, there's no need to have it. So,
Yeah, you got that sweet spot where you didn't need to have it because you couldn't get it anyway. So this is perfect-ish.
Yeah.
Although you kind of do need to have it because you got to do some quality control, right?
Well, you need to be able to test it out, see it's all right. And I do have lots of VR equipment. I've got 2 PSVRs. I have a HP Windows Mixed Reality headset, and I have a Quest 2. But now I'm worried with how will restrictions work when stuff comes back.
Yeah.
There are these liners you can get. They're like the little sanitizer masks you put around your face. And we always sanitize the headsets before and after anyhow. But there's other things we figured out how to do. But I am worried that I may have to just bench the VR a little longer.
That's because the controllers, you can take the Lysol wipes and just give them a quick wash and boom, they're ready to go.
Yeah, I wiped down the headsets as well. We used the Lysol wipes and then a nice fiber cloth on the inside of it to take away the dampness. One of the things I am going to change is instead of having the controllers at each station, people have to come get a controller from us. When they're done, they hand it back. We make sure it's sanitized and put it in the sanitized pile.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
These are new restrictions that you're thinking of now based on, the environment?
Well, there's that. And last July, there was one event I was able to do, and we were trying to work within the restrictions that were at that time. So we implicated that. We also had a system in the middle of a 6-foot table with an HDMI splitter going to 2 separate screens. So if people were playing a 2-player game, they're still playing on the same console, but they were still 6 feet apart. And then for Mario Kart, we just used a large TV and marked spots on the floor. So.
Okay, that works. Well, everyone remember, in April, I think it's April 30th, CKX is hopefully back, and Erin will be back. So come play with his toys, right?
I always try to get over there.
But that's the one thing. Remember, if you have something going on, like you said, and that wedding idea is brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
because the kids don't care about the wedding.
No.
No.
And of course, the parents were down there watching the children.
They're watching their glass. That's
Yeah.
So remember that. Game On Entertainment Services goes. But I'm going to throw this up because this is our topic today. Top 10 Canadian films with Erin Milkos from G.O.E.S.
Yay.
Interesting topic. It was a little challenging, but I didn't use my usual. I picked the ones that I thought were most intriguing. I may not watch them a lot. Normally, that's my list. Anything I watch over and over again is considered my highest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I did my absolute favorite Canadian films.
Here we go.
Yeah,
Well-
I chose mine. Some of them were based. I really like them as well. They're good movies. My 10 and 9 and 1 is a bit tied in a three-way. Now, because I need to say this, Sky told me to watch Defendor.
I've heard
And-
of that.
Ooh.
I did not watch that till today. And I'm like, oh my God, I wish I watched this sooner. And I would have put it on my list somewhere.
As Woody Harrelson, right?
Yeah, Woody Harrelson. He's autistic and he becomes a vigilante in Hamilton. And it's brilliant.
That's one that it's been on my radar, but I've not heard anything. Like, I don't know anyone who's seen it. So I'm anxious to hear about this one. So,
Well, now you know somebody.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, Sky from last week, he recommended it to me. He's like, how can you not have seen that? Because I grew up in Hamilton. And now that I've seen it, I'm like, oh shit, I want to watch that again.
Nice.
And this is the one thing we love about this list. It introduces new films to people because I'd never heard of that.
Mhm.
And now I'm going to find it because I need to watch it. Well, let's start with number 10. Erin, what is your number 10?
My number 10 is a movie from 1974. It's called White Dawn. And it's about 3 American whalers who find themselves on Baffin Island. It starts off with 4 of them, and it's filmed where I was born, at Calumet. And actually, the whaler who dies at the beginning, the body that after they strip all his clothes off and they throw the naked body in the snow, that was played by my father. So my father is the naked dead guy at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, no, that's cool.
But it's got, oh gosh, what's that actor's name? Lou Gossett Jr.
Oh,
And
wow.
It's really sort of a morality tale of, Europeans, Americans coming to a First Nations place, in this case the Inuit, and corrupting them with alcohol, tobacco, and sex.
Interesting. I've never heard of this. Okay.
Now, I can't say I've heard that one either.
Wow.
It's
Ni-
brilliant.
1974.
1974, yes.
Well, it is now.
Directed by Philip Kaufman.
Oh, really?
Definitely have to look for that.
I like his work.
And it is now added to my list. Okay. Jason, number 10.
All right. My number 10 going to 2015 with Bite.
Oh, I still have to watch that one.
Yeah.
Never
I-
heard of it.
It's a this is one of these movies, like, I don't go back to it often, but it's one I talk about. It's one that is stuck with me. Yeah, that poster right there. That the effects in this film and the performance given is spellbinding and terrifying.
It's a horror.
Absolutely. And it has stuck with me. Almost, I don't want to say nightmares because we're not to that level, but it's there. I think of that movie often.
It's got one of the creepiest scenes I remember seeing. It's my number 4.
Okay.
And it's a body horror film. So like she's converting into this monstery thing. And so she's sitting there making her nest or whatever it's called. And as she's throwing bile out, There's your poster, Aaron. As she's putting this bile out, these little eggs are constantly dribbling out of her mouth at the same time. And it is the grossest and coolest thing I've seen on film. So definitely worth a watch.
Mm-hmm.
To put that on my list to check out later.
Hey, James, what's your number 10?
Okay, I just need to quickly amend my previous statement. My top 6 are my absolute favorite Canadian films. The bottom 4 were the ones that have been like shifting positions for the last several days since you announced the list. The top 6 has been solved, and it's just like these last 4 are killing me. Anyway, so that being said, my number 10 from 2008 is the film 1 Week.
Oh.
This is the one starring Joshua Jackson where he is diagnosed with late-stage cancer, and prior to starting treatment, he tells his fiance he wants to take a road trip across the country. He buys a motorcycle from an old man on his way home from work, and he heads out west. And there's a very notable cameo in the movie. It's what's most stands out for me is he's at a motel and he's sitting outside and he strikes up a conversation with another got another guy staying at the motel who tells him about how he had cancer a few years back, and he had an ass load of cancer, and he kicked its ass, and he's discussing about like whether the guy loves his fiance or not. The interesting thing is the guy who says he had cancer and beat it is played by Gordon Downey.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. This is back in 2008 though.
I might
So
to watch this.
that always stuck with me. Not only because you see him in the preview, it's like, holy shit, Gordon Downey's in the movie, but in retrospect.
It's very ironic that he would play that particular role.
Yeah.
Very cool. My number 10 is one of the coolest werewolf independent films I've seen in quite some time. From 2000, Ginger Snap.
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
I almost thought he was going to say Wolf Cop.
So did I.
It did not make my list. And that's only because I've never seen it.
Okay.
You haven't seen Wolf Cop?
I haven't seen Wolf Cop or another Wolf Cop.
Or another Wolf Cop.
I haven't watched the second one.
It's
But
still
Ginger
pretty
Snap-
funny.
Oh, Ginger Snaps is fun because it takes it somewhat serious and it's got a nice edge to it and it's not overly campy.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I only watched it for the first time like within the last year or two.
And Ginger Snaps
It blew me away.
and Ginger Snaps 2 is just about as good.
I haven't seen any of the sequels. Just
Nope. I'd say watch number 2 and then stop, which isn't to say that Ginger Snaps 3 is bad. It's just they take the Ginger Snaps story and throw it back into the 1800s and just play it out over again. I'm like, what? You've done this already. It's just 200 years ago doesn't change anything.
now it's 1800s. Yeah, that's totally
and it's the same girls playing the same roles. I'm like, what are you doing?
confusing you.
Yeah.
All right. On to number 9 then. Aaron, what's your number 9?
It's actually another movie filmed on Baffin Island. It's called Never Cry Wolf. It's an adapted by Farley Mowat story. It's a guy who works for Environment Canada. He's supposed to go up and find out why the caribou population is dwindling. And Brian Dennehy's in it. He plays kind of a dick pilot who wants to kill the wolves. And basically he touches base with the Inuit people and he learns sort of the balance and the importance of the wolves in nature and why they should be left alone.
I've heard of this. I've heard about this for decades.
I've not.
Oh,
I've got to see this. I think that's a little. I don't know if you call it stereotype or it's a byproduct. If it's Canadian, you tend to steer away from it. So I may have heard the title and thought, nah, I'm going to watch Rambo instead because it's American and things blow up.
It is a Disney movie. It did win several awards as well.
Oh, really? See, that I didn't know.
Hmm.
I'm going to have to check Disney Plus for that. I wonder if it's on there. Now I gotta know. Jason, what's your number 9?
My number 9. This is the one that I said prior that I don't know if you've even heard of or definitely haven't seen. From 2013, The Dirties.
I finally watched this a few weeks ago.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, The Dirties is a found footage film, but it's like watching a Canadian version of Columbine. It's these two guys doing a film project, and they're doing it as the comedy, is what they keep saying, of them basically getting revenge on their bully. But the
Kevin
one
Smith
guy
was
just goes deep on it, and it ends up in psychosis and an actual school shooting.
Kevin Smith was a big proponent of this movie.
That's why it got on my radar. He talked it up because this was a film that they released through his Kevin Smodcast Pictures brand.
Yes.
It was one of the first films they did that for.
Yeah.
This film is it's spellbinding again. Like it'll hold you to watch this descent into madness. It's almost like the Joker kind of thing, where you just watch this kid just lose his mind.
I need to watch it again because I had a few questions. I thought it needed more of an ending to it. And my one major question was, who's holding the camera?
Good question.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Without spoiling anything, who's holding the camera?
Yeah.
The Dirties 2. There's where you get your answer. Right?
Oh.
Message Kevin. Tell him to get on that. James, what's your number 9?
My number 9 is a movie from 2020, last year. It's a movie by Brandon Cronenberg, David Cronenberg's son. This is Possessor.
Another movie I haven't heard of.
I've not heard of that one.
No.
This one came out. It's also known as Possessor Uncut because it got delayed, and the version that got released was the uncut version. Oh. And this one is basically there's assassins out there, and what they do is they, unbeknownst to the target they're using, they implant them with some sort of device, and they can project their consciousness into this person to perform the assassination. And once the assassination has been done, they get the subject to kill themselves, and that shoots their consciousness back to their body. And it's a lot on the disturbing side, but it has, you got Andrea Riseborough, Jennifer Jason Leigh's in there, Sean Bean.
Oh boy.
Who doesn't die.
No. Spoilers.
Yes, I know it's a rarity that he doesn't die.
Dude.
He always died. He died after the credits, you know.
He's not actually the point of the movie. So
it's not a real
But yeah, movie. I thought it was a big step up because Brandon Cronenberg, this is only his second film. He did one a few years ago called Antiviral, where people are fascinated by the diseases that celebrities have been infected with. So they go to certain establishments to try and get themselves, like they almost purchase the infection because they want to be infected with this flu strain that, say, Brad Pitt had, or it was a very off the wall, messed up movie.
That sounds right for a Cronenberg.
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Yes.
Right. Well, mine is not so recent. It's I'm more with Erin, 1981, but this was during the prime of the slasher movie, and my list would not be complete if I did not have this. For 1981, My Bloody Valentine.
Oh, still got to watch that.
One of my favorite horror movies. And it's not just because I got to hang out with The Weeknd for the director. No, I was a fan before that. But that just kind of made it better. But no, I think this was one of the first slasher movies I ever saw as a kid. And it just mesmerized me. So it's got that nostalgic little place that I'll always go back to. Not the remake, but this one.
I just watched it for the first time like a year ago.
Oh yeah.
And I won't go back to it, but I did enjoy the hell out of it. It's another one that has stuck with me. I can still remember a couple key moments in that film very vividly.
Yeah, it's got some vivid moments, that's for sure. That's excellent. Okay, number 8. Aaron, what do you got?
I have a tie, and they're both Adam Nagoyan movies. Sweet Hereafter and Exotica, mainly because they're very similar. They do these depths into the seedy underbelly of the what's going on. The Sweet Hereafter deals with a small town in British Columbia. There's a school bus accident. The school bus goes off the road, and a slick lawyer comes in from Toronto, and he wants to put together a class action lawsuit. And then there's all the things going on. His daughter back in Toronto is a drug addict, and there's a lot of similar actors. And of course, with Exotica, you've got the guy dealing with his daughter being killed, and there's all those flashbacks to the search for it. And then there's the weird repercussions of the people's lives afterwards. And both movies feel the same.
Interesting. I just noticed Exotica has Elias Koteas in it.
Yeah, and Bruce Greenwood. And Mia Kirshner. Oh, Exotica didn't make my list, but Sweet Hereafter is my number 4.
Nice.
Oh, is it?
From 1997.
Nice. Let's see, I haven't seen that one. I hadn't even heard of that one.
The Sweet Hereafter? Oh my God. I'm still meaning to read the book, but the movie is amazing.
Well, and two, sometimes if you come across a good movie that's based on a book, you don't want to touch the book because it might ruin the movie.
And you got Sarah Polley in the movie singing Courage by the Tragically Hip.
Yeah, that's a really, really good rendition.
Haunting.
You got me. All right, Jason, number 8.
My number 8, 2013 again. Going to go with Antisocial.
Nice.
It kind of blends that rage virus, but we only get a little bit of it, more of a home invasion kind of story. And it had a really good dynamic there.
I forgot all about that film, and it's right on the wall right there. right in the corner right there.
The Antisocial 2 is the one that sticks with me more.
I did like the second one, but that first one, there was some great intensity. And what put it on my radar was my Letterkenny fandom, because it stars Michelle Millette. So I wanted to see her in something else, and I was very happy with what I saw in that film and the sequel.
So that's still
I had a movie that barely missed my list that had Pastor Glenn in it.
Oh.
We lost Aaron. He'll jump back in when he can.
Okay.
Anybody listening, Aaron is having internet issues.
Yeah.
So he may jump in and out a couple times during this, but we'll make sure we get to him. Is that still a show?
What?
Letterkenny?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're filming 2 seasons back to back right now.
I thought
That's what. Yeah. You posted that, didn't you, Jason?
Yeah.
Or shared it or something. Yeah.
I thought that was over long ago.
No.
Watch.
No. It ain't going nowhere. They got a long contract. That was on the news. They got a long contract.
I do have to watch it. I really do. I've watched the first season. I just haven't sat down to watch the rest.
But
I can't believe the homework is this late.
Right?
Before I started on the show.
Yeah.
Well, it's because once I'm done, then I won't have any more homework. There he is.
Was coming back? Yay!
Sorry.
No problem.
That happens. Trust me. That's why it's easy just to jump in and out of this stream. So don't you worry. We are now on James for number 8.
My number 8 is from 1994. It is an early film from Bruce McDonald, and still one of my favorite from his. It is Dance Me Outside. Featuring the feature film debut of Hugh Dillon of the Headstones.
I have never heard of this movie.
It takes place almost exclusively on a reservation. So you've got Adam Beach and Ryan Rajendra Black as Frank Fenspost and Silas Crow. They're the main two guys. And it's basically about their life on the res, and one of their sisters who left and came back, and she's married to a white guy, and they're having trouble conceiving a kid.
Interesting.
So you get the friends messing with the pale face.
I might have to check that one out. Of course, my number 8 is a little bit more, I won't say mainstream, but known, from 1974, right at the beginning of the slasher era. You're gonna see a trend, I think, with mine. Black Christmas. You know,
I haven't seen that one either.
you can't have a Christmas without watching Black Christmas.
Never watched it.
Oh,
I still find it hard to believe that the same guy who did Black Christmas did A Christmas Story.
right?
Needs to do a mashup, a Black Christmas Story.
No. No. Don't do that, man.
I'll shoot your eye out, motherfucker.
Exactly.
Right itself. Look at this.
Oh.
It's just like Kevin Smith when he came up with Tusk.
No.
I have not seen Tusk.
Oh.
It's an interesting watch. It's good, but it's very interesting.
Nor
But
have
he
I
basically came up with the idea and budgeted it and cast it almost in one podcast episode.
Yep. That's where it started. It started as a podcast episode.
So here we go. Hashtag Black Christmas Story. Yes, that's what we need to see.
But I don't want that.
Number 7. Aaron, what do you got?
Last Night. It's a 1998 movie directed by Don McKellar. It's the last night on Earth, and it's all these little stories about what people are going to do. This one guy, he's going to try to have sex with his high school French teacher. This other people are going to have a party. These two people who live together in a building. The woman, she and her husband were going to shoot each other before the end, but he left, and so now it's up to her neighbor across the street, and it becomes this huge bonding moment. And I won't spoil it, but it's really, really good. And you don't know why the world's going to end. You just know it's going to end.
Don McKellar's directorial debut.
I remember hearing about this film, but I did not ever watch it. And now you reminded me of the commercials. I do want to see it.
It's good because it's weird. You're watching the movie and it's just like everyone's talking about the end of the world. The world's going to end. And nobody is saying why. And nobody seems terribly alarmed by it. And it's just going to end.
David Cronenberg, he plays this guy working for Toronto Hydro, and he's phoning everyone, or Ontario Hydro. Hi, I'm calling from the hydro company, and I just want to let you know your power will be on all the way till the end. And that's what he does for most of the movie.
Wow.
Yeah, and yet Callum Keith Rennie, who's trying to have every kind of sex with every kind of person imaginable.
Isn't there only 2? Never mind. We won't go there. Okay. Jason, number 7.
My number 7, we're going into the Wayback Machine to 1981.
I can make it so you never were born, man.
1981 heavy metal.
Nice. That's my number 6.
Excellent.
Happy thoughts.
Just keep your mouth shut, James. Just zip it up, man.
I didn't know that was Canadian. Here, let me just.
Really?
Yeah.
It's almost entirely voiced by SCTV.
Well, I knew that like some of the cast was Canadian. I had no idea it was a Canadian production. That's interesting.
I think production is a loose term.
Oh, his mic got turned back on. Sorry. Okay, but yes, it's a classic.
And if you haven't yet, if you want more of that, you check out Love, Sex, and Robots, or Love,
Take
Death,
a fork and
Robots.
stab it in your eye, and then
Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix is heavy metal.
Oh,
It started as a heavy metal reboot, or if you will, by David Fincher, but they couldn't get the film off the ground, and he evolved it into Love, Death, and Robots for Netflix.
interesting.
I didn't know.
I know I've heard that title.
Love, Death, and Robots is fantastic. There are some amazing episodes. So many different art styles and interesting stories. And it is a stunning show.
I've seen it on Netflix when I go buy it to watch 300.
Oh. Ooh.
I have heard it's good. I will say that. Okay, James, what's your number 7 then?
My number 7 from 1998, film by Francois Girard, starring Samuel Jackson. One of his favorite movies that he recently stated in an interview, The Red Violin.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
I didn't realize that was a Canadian movie.
Yeah.
this is the thing. You don't know. It's good. It must be American, right? But no, it's Canadian. It's taken me a lot from my childhood to get over the fact that yes, there is good Canadian content. It's incredible what we produce up here. But yeah, I thought that was American too. I didn't realize that was Canadian.
Damn,
Okay, well, enough said on that one, I guess.
Well, I was just going to mention who else was in it, but it's about the Red Violin. There's an infamous Stradivarius called the Red Violin that was made like 300-400 years ago, and it all revolves around an auction, and all the people bidding on it are either affiliated or descendants of past owners, and there's been like a monastery that owned it, and someone in communist China that owned it, and a famous composer who owned it, and it's just gone down from generation to generation, and then it got lost somehow. And there's also mystery about its construction. So, sorry, I should have gone into detail with that, but there you go.
No, that sounds good, actually. I have to check that out. Okay, well, my number 7, again, 1981, and again, the whole slasher gore thing, but this was more of a psychological one, is Scanners. It has the most iconic scenes.
Got to see it.
Yes, you do. You do. Michael Ironside has one of his best roles. Early role for him, I think, too.
I think it is.
Now I want to watch it again. Okay. Jumping into number 6. Number 6, we know Erin is heavy metal. So we're going to Jason for number 6.
Okay, well, my number 6, James, 1983, A Christmas Story. I'm going to shoot your eye out, kid. It's my favorite Christmas movie.
I had no idea that that's Canadian.
I didn't either,
God.
except for the director.
It was a Canadian production.
I completely omitted it. I apologize.
It is my all-time favorite Christmas movie. So naturally, it had to be on this list.
Naturally.
It would have been on my list if I knew it was Canadian. I don't know where I would have put it, but it would have been.
And someday I'm going to get down to Ohio where the house actually is, because the house exists and they do tours, and it's still in exact condition from the film.
Wow.
Yeah, some guy bought it, redid it all up to be screen accurate, and he owns the house across the street, and that's the gift shop.
Huh.
Can you buy a one-legged lamp there?
Probably.
That would be awesome.
Fragile.
All right, then. James, what's your number 6?
My number 6 from 2015. It is my second favorite Adam McGoyan film. The first favorite being Sweet Hereafter, which has already been mentioned. This one is Remember.
I have not heard.
Christopher Plummer, Martin Landau, and what's his name? Jürgen Prochnow. This one involves a senior citizen, Christopher Plummer, who's in a nursing home, and he made a promise to another nursing home resident, Martin Landau, that after his wife has recently died, and he made a promise that once his wife dies, he'll fulfill a vow that he made, which was to track down and kill, because they are Auschwitz Holocaust survivors, and he made a vow to track down the prison guard that executed the rest of his family while they were in World War II. So his wife has died, so he's going to go across the country. He's also kind of suffering from dementia a bit. So he's a senior citizen going across the country to execute someone. And it takes some twists and turns along the way, but it is a tour de force by Christopher Plummer and Martin Landau.
Interesting. Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'd not heard of this. Is why we keep James around, because he introduces us to the odd film we have never heard of. So we tolerate his other opinion. Let me see. My number 6, I think, is one of Billy Connolly's best performances ever.
Ooh.
It's 2006's Fido.
Oh, you had me till you said Fido.
Dude.
I was looking forward to that one for so long, and then I finally watched it, and I just didn't enjoy it. Just me.
Fido is like one of the best zombie movies I think I've seen.
Definitely one of the most original.
Right? You have zombies in a 50s style life. Like, it's...
Mm-hmm.
I won't deny the originality.
Okay, I'll take that from you. That's a big thing, so I'll take that. Number 5. Erin, what's your number 5?
So it was released in the States in 2002, but it came out in Canada in 2000. It's a movie called Way Downtown. It's about these people who work in Toronto. And if you spend a lot of time in Toronto, you know that you can go from Union Station to Yonge and Eglinton and not leave outside. So their bet is who can stay inside the longest.
Underground, the pathway.
And it's interesting, the main character, the twists he takes, his scummy coworker, and then his sympathetic coworker, and then the end is just, it's something to watch for sure.
I think you mentioned this briefly about one of the films, and I do want to see it because I've been down in those tunnels, you know, like I said, like mini malls in certain sections. And
they go on forever. Yeah.
Yep. So I do want to see it. I do.
And it's funny how there's one point, there's a security guard, and he gets bumped out of the way by one of the suits. And when I was going to George Brown in Toronto, and I'd already spent a lot of time in Toronto, one of my ex-girlfriends worked at a bookstore along Path underneath the Scotiabank building. I had to explain to my classmate the rules of the escalator, that you have to stand on the right-hand side if you're just standing there, or stand on the left-hand side if you're walking up. And I'm like, don't let the fucking suits push you out of the way either, because they're just here as everyone. And the one guy's going to turn around and say something, and I'm 6'6". And he looks at me, and I'm like, what?
Nothing. Go ahead. Yep. Here, take my spot. Yep. That works. Let me see here. Number 5, Jason.
All right, my number 5, we're going to 2011 with Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh, it's my number 4.
Is that Canadian?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
It's they set it. I don't know if they're ever clear about it, but West Virginia is where it's supposed to be set. But it was Canadian.
It's all filmed in Alberta.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And
wow.
God damn, I love that movie. That's
it's awesome.
It just the way it totally flipped that whole script. You know? And there was talk of a sequel, but they just have never been able to get it to come together, and it looks like it's just not going to happen now.
Well, that's just it. The beauty of that film is the originality of the concept, and to make a sequel, you're just
I'm glad the sequel didn't happen. Honestly,
I forgot about that.
Me too.
I feel like and for timing wise, I feel like if you want just a fun double bill for a night, you watch that and you watch Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah. Yeah, and have a little bit of 420 by your side while you're doing it, and you're set to go.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know what I'm doing this weekend.
We've just made Jason's weekend plans.
Well, changing plan. I was going to watch something else this weekend, but no, I'm changing it to that.
The double bill. We'll call it Jason's Grindhouse. There we go.
There we go. Yeah.
Nice.
Let me see. James, number 5.
Number 5, my number 5 is from 2010. It's my favorite Bruce McDonald film. It is called This Movie Is Broken. And it was basically, they took a real concert, a real Broken Social Scene concert filmed in Toronto from I think it was 2009 or in that era. And they created a fictional narrative that happens around it. But they actually go to the show that happened on the Harborfront Center, I think. They say in the movie. But yeah, and it's what got me into Broken Social Scene, and it's just a great movie that they wrapped around the concert. Anyway,
I've never even heard of that one. There's a lot of Canadian films I need to pick up on.
I haven't heard of too many concert films that have that they put a story around.
There's only one other one. Metallica Through the Never.
I was just gonna say that one. That's the only one I've ever seen or heard of.
Yeah, this one has far less special effects.
Okay.
Canadian. Let me see. Mine is from 1996. It's a David Cronenberg, but it's one of his most. I think it's bizarre, not necessarily the horror. It's called Crash.
Oh yeah, James Spader.
Yes, James Spader, Holly Hunter, Elias Koteas, Rosanna Arquette, and it's about people that are fascinated and turned on by car accidents.
Yeah.
And it messes with your head, and I love it.
I did not need that flashback coming back. I haven't thought of that in decades, and now I'm gonna have flashbacks. Come on, man.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
There's one particular scene that is messed up.
Jason's now going to get a text about 11 o'clock tonight. It's just going to say crash.
I think my favorite scene is Elias Koteas when he does the whole James Dean car, and he has the microphone, recreates the crash, and then he gets out of the car and he still has the microphone.
And he's the reason I actually watched that film, because Some Kind of Wonderful is one of my favorite films with him. And the Turk, right? So then I heard about this film. It's like, I got to check him out. It's like, he's nothing like the other two characters at all.
This party is about to become historic.
it is good. Okay, let's get to number 4. Well, we now know Aaron's number 4 is Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which definitely would have been on my list if I'd not forgotten. Dang it.
That's why I do my pre-homework.
Yes. Well, I thought I did. I scoured everything I could find, but not everything.
Obviously, you didn't check Wikipedia.
And see, James's number 4 is Sweet Hereafter. My number 4 is Bite. So Jason is the only one we need to find out for number 4.
And we're going to 1979. This is deep into my childhood right here with Bill Murray's first film, Meatballs.
I knew someone was going to bring up Meatballs. Nice. Okay, one sec.
Every single second of that film leaves a warm feeling in my heart. That is completely my childhood.
And you know what? I forgot about that film as well.
I didn't realize that was Canadian. I remember watching it several times. I didn't realize that was a Canadian movie.
It's filmed at a camp up near Halliburton.
Right on.
I will add it to the never-ending list.
And that I can do the Bill Murray speech The big speech. That's one of my favorite speeches. I brought it up in the rant.
You
episode
did.
we
You
a few
did. I
months back.
remembered that. Yeah.
So, yeah, meatballs, man. Yeah, of course, it had to be on the list.
Camp White Pine in Halliburton, Ontario. There it is. Just a little side thing for 2020 CKX. We are actually talking to one of the actresses from Meatballs to come up.
Nice.
Unfortunately, it fell through, obviously. So,
But
Do you remember?
So your backup is Bill Murray.
there we go.
hey, if we can find that 1-800 number.
Do you remember
no.
that in between like VHS and Laserdisc, there was movies on records? Needle. I had Meatballs on Needle Vision.
See, I heard of that, but I never ever got any of those.
No.
My first
My dad
big
Sorry, I was going to say my dad had to have all those tech toys. He's like, oh, something new, I'm going to buy it.
See, I was like that, but unfortunately, I started at Laserdisc. You know, that was my first big, well, at VCR, but that was my first big tech toy was a Laserdisc. And there was the two kinds, because there was the one that was like a big disc you dropped in like a CD, but then there was the one that you shoved into the player that never came out of the case.
That's the one that we would rent for birthday parties. We would rent Raiders of the Lost Ark and Star Wars and stuff. Yeah.
Time
Yep.
Bandits for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
I remember seeing
Yes,
Clash
my
of
dad
the
had a
Titans.
collection of Laserdiscs.
Yes.
Clash of the Titans. Yeah.
Okay, number 3. Aaron, what's your number 3?
Scott Pilgrim versus the World. It's a fucking brilliant Canadian movie. It takes place in Toronto. It's about a story in Toronto, and it involves video games and comic books and women. It's like it was my perfect movie at that point in my life.
I still want an answer to why that light switch is so high up on the wall.
Oh boy, I can't believe I totally blanked on
Right?
Scott Pilgrim. Oh,
I did too, because
this
I
is-
think Edgar Wright, UK production, but
but I knew it was set in Canada.
yeah.
It's oh,
And that's bugging me because I'm now questioning the list.
this is one of those times where yes, I'm getting very angry at myself. Oh.
If I had remembered all the titles in here, my list would have been very different, I think.
Oh my gosh, that one hurts.
Well,
Oof.
Jason, let's hear what your number 3 is.
Oh, I'm winded. 2003, Ryan Reynolds, early film for Ryan Reynolds. I forgot the name of the movie. Foolproof.
Yeah, this almost made my list.
It's one of my absolute favorite heist movies.
It is great.
And it is a very early role for Ryan Reynolds. So
And one of the and a major Canadian production for its time.
yeah, it was had something to do with it was one of the first films to get some sort of new program from federal funding or something.
I still have the special edition DVD that comes with the soundtrack.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
I haven't heard
Yeah.
it.
It's an awesome heist movie. And
for
again, with that a young, fresh-faced Ryan Reynolds, but he's got all that giddy little charm that we've all grown to love.
And for fans of Hercule Poirot, David Suchet is the villain in that movie.
I was just going to say that.
Yes.
Okay, maybe not. All right, James, number 3.
My number 3 from 2007. These top 3 are the what is it? Creme de la creme of my favorite Canadian movies. It's from 2007. This is, and because we have our little language warning on the podcast, I can state the title and not just the abbreviation. This is Young People Fucking.
I have not watched it. I've seen the poster. I've seen trailers.
It's one of my, not just one of my all-time favorite Canadian movies, one of my all-time favorite romantic comedy movies. It is so funny. It is so well done.
I don't think I've seen it, but I'm well aware of it.
And I was very fortunate to see this in the theater. It was one of the first movies I saw when I started going to visit my friend Greg up in Ottawa, because they actually had a theater that was showing it. So we got to see it in the theater.
I might. Okay. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff I got to watch off this list. Jeez. My number 3 is from 1983, and it's kind of like a rom-com, except not. It's more of a buddy film. And what good is a buddy film without beer?
Yeah.
Strange Brew. Bob and Doug.
Nice.
It's an honorable mention for me.
You don't get much more Canadian than Strange Brew, okay?
Filmed in Hamilton. They're making fun of the Hamilton Brewery. They spend time at the asylum on West 5th and Fennel. Yeah, I loved it. And they run down the hill and they crash going down the West 5th axis. It's great.
That's the fun part when they're filmed locally like that. We get to watch the places and go, I recognize that. I recognize that. Nobody films anything in Chatham except me, so I don't get to do that very much.
and as a tip to all the young people, your dog will not drink beer. Don't try it.
Yeah. And don't grow a mouse inside a beer bottle.
You get free beer. Oh man. Okay, number 2, Aaron, what do you got?
Number 2, Cop, Bad Cop.
Oh,
have you not
Nice.
seen? Robert looks confused. It's about this body gets found on the border between Canada, Ontario and Quebec. And,
same thing.
So an Ontario OPP goes out and the QPP goes out. There's a bit of an argument about who's going to take the body. And the guy from Ontario is like, his torso's on your side. He's a true Quebecer. His heart belongs to Quebec. It's no problem. And he's like, yeah, but his ass is on your side. And the serial killer is killing people who helped get moved NHL teams to the States. So
Best line in the movie. You speak French? No, I had a small gadget installed inside my brain, and I see subtitles under people when they speak. Yes, I speak French.
That's brilliant. I like that.
And then even Bone Cop, Bad Cop 2 with the guy Patrick Ward coming up saying, like, doing like a movie promo, balls of stone.
I haven't seen 2. I have not seen 2.
Two is even funnier because they already have the basis of being friends, and they go down to the southern U.S.
Oh shit!
Okay, maybe I'll watch it. I think I'll watch it. Jason, number 2.
My number 2, going to 2012, Goon.
Oh, nice.
I haven't seen it.
Goon is in
69. It's hilarious.
Goon is this generation's Slapshot. It is such a hilarious hockey movie. It's just so much fun. It's Sean William Scott playing something entirely different from Stifler, which is rare for him. He kind of gets typecast that way a lot.
Yeah.
But in this case, he's simple. He's simple but he's very aware of what's going on, but he doesn't like to upset anyone and whatnot. But man, he can knock guys out at any point with just one punch. Like, he's a bruiser. And so they end up putting him on a hockey team. He can barely skate. And they put him on the team, but he just pummels guys and gets in fights, and it builds to him taking on the Icon, and it's friggin' brutal. Liev Schreiber is so badass.
This is like an epitome Canadian film, and I know I've never watched it. I want to, because I want to see Goon 2.
They're both great.
You got to see 2 because it was also directed by Jay Baruchel.
Exactly.
Well,
Kim
he
Coates in
wrote
it.
the first one.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Kim Coates is hilarious, especially in the first one.
This is not baseball.
Oh,
Yeah, I cannot recommend Goon enough. It is great.
it goes on the list too, I guess. All right, James, what's your number 2?
My number 2 from 2015, the latest film directed and starring Paul Gross. It is Hyena Road.
Yet another movie I've never heard of.
What? This one was actually in Chatham.
Yeah,
We
that'd be
we played it. We played it for like 2 weeks at the theater.
And how
Never
many-
heard of it.
What's it about?
Yeah, it's about the war in Afghanistan, and it's about a small squad of Canadian soldiers. And you got Paul Gross playing. He's sort of like the intelligence operative in there, and you have Rossif Sutherland, the brother of Kiefer Sutherland, is sort of like a sniper, heads his own squad, and they're trying to get this road installed through the province or country or whatever, called Hyena Road, and insurgents keep messing things up for people, and it's essentially, and there's also a legendary, they call him the Lion of the Desert, and he's this infamous military individual who always screwed things up for the Russians and the Taliban and stuff, and always seemed to come out unscathed. So it's very, very, very interesting, very well done Canadian military movie.
I'll be watching Goon first. Just saying. All right, here we go. Number 1, Aaron.
Number 1.
My number 1 is a tie. Strange Brew and Videodrome.
Oh, I still haven't seen Videodrome.
Strange Brew because I'm spent most of my life in Hamilton and it's fun. It's one of those childhood memory movies. Videodrome because the thematic, and it's very relevant to today. If Cronenberg had made that movie 10 years ago, it'd be more about the internet than TV. It even starts off with a recording from his assistant about what he has to do that day, very much like our digital assistants today. And it just gets into a bizarre place. It goes very Cronenberg in the 80s with the body horror, but still the themes hold up really well today.
That iconic scene with the cassette into the stomach, you know.
Yes. And how today that would be a cell phone. You're the thing that's attached to you, right? That thing that's feeding you that information.
Yeah.
And also at the end, when he's running around that hotel, he's doing it in the Regal Constellation. And back in the day, I used to go to a convention called Toronto Trek, which was at the Regal Constellation. So I'm like, oh, I know that hotel.
That's cool. That makes the movies just a little bit better when you recognize spots. Yeah. It does. It really does.
An honorable mention, another David Cronenberg film for me was Existence.
Very good.
I need to rewatch that. I was in a discussion with a friend, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I think I want to rewatch that because it's probably relevant to a lot of things that are going on today.
Well, I am copying my number 1 over Jason's because I have a feeling that he is going to give the same title.
Oh,
Jason, what's your number 1?
2019.
It is 2019.
Last Call.
That's the one.
I saw that coming.
That, if you're not familiar with Last Call, you absolutely should be. If there's any movie that I legitimately herald and try to get people's attention on, it's Last Call. It's a powerful film. The performances are spellbinding with just 2 actors. And then knowing that it is legitimately one take, 2 cameras, simultaneous, that just is a baffling feat.
Oh, wow.
You know, not the trick editing that they did with 1917. This was legitimately one take with 2 cameras, 2 locations, simultaneous.
to the point where when they're talking on the phones, they're legit talking on the phones, and you couldn't take Sarah's side of take one and match with David's side of take three because the phone calls might not happen at the same time.
Right.
So they had to run one complete film for sure the way they liked it.
Essentially, it was a film stage play.
I totally applaud the technical aspects of the film, but everything that came out of the guy's mouth just took me out of the movie.
Oh,
How about new?
I really wish that still had "You Crazy Dutch Bastard" on there.
That'll be.
I don't know. I don't know if it was the dialogue or the delivery. I didn't like the guys. I didn't like the only thing I didn't like about the movie was everything the guy said.
Oh, is that all? Okay.
The actress in the movie, his wife, did a fantastic job. The technical aspects, even what I said when he was on the show, were fantastic. But that guy took me out of the movie.
Was it how he delivered it, or was it the content of the dialogue?
Bad dialogue I suppose can be delivered good. So I guess it was his delivery.
Well, you have to remember too. Just a second here. There, my mic's messing up. You have to remember too. This is a guy who's drugged up and alcoholed up, trying to commit suicide.
And I didn't like the ending.
Well, there's that too.
Of course, I totally disagree. I felt every bit of emotion on both sides of that screen at all times.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Like, how did it not get on the Oscar radar? Like, that just baffles me.
It's Canadian.
Yes, but it's one of the most powerful films I have ever experienced in my life.
Yeah. Oh, and there's Greg. Hey, everyone. Hope everyone's way to finally join us, Greg. Yeah.
He showed up. He showed up for number one.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And by the way, happy birthday, Greg. See, I'm a better friend than James.
It is his birthday today.
I am not his friend on Facebook, unfortunately.
Oh dear.
So I forgot about that.
Well, let's make him happy, James. What's your number one? Because we all know it's going to be a film he loves.
I don't know that he's seen it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure he ever asked me to bring it up to Ottawa. Anyway,
we're good with the fact nobody has seen it. Trust me.
It's possible.
It's okay.
It's okay, James. All good. All right. Well, if you ever want me to bring it up, Greg, just say so. My number one is from 2002. It is the second movie directed by Paul Gross. It is my favorite Canadian movie ever made, and it is the last movie I saw in the theater with my dad.
Nice.
Wow.
It is the movie that got me to like curling even a little bit. It is Men with Brooms.
That's good. It is a good movie. I like that.
And see, I have not watched it. I know Leslie Nielsen's in it, and I do want to see it. But to me, you got to be in the right mood to appreciate that kind of humor, and I just don't think I ever am when I see it.
I think I watched it when it first came out, but I've never gone back. I don't really remember much of it. But at that era, I can see why I would most likely really enjoy it. Paul Gross was awesome. So,
Okay.
There we are.
And Leslie Nielsen. It was brilliant. I mean, I know Leslie Nielsen showed up on Due South a lot.
And
this was just a better. This was better.
And
chemistry.
Also a cameo as the team representing Kingston, the Tragically Hip.
Nice.
Greg said, "Oh no, it's not Men with Brooms. Passendale was your favorite, James."
No, that's that out of his three movies, that would be my third favorite. But Passchendaele is still a great movie. It just barely missed the list.
Men with Brooms. No, I I gotta watch it. I love Leslie Nielsen, so I gotta watch it.
Leslie Nielsen is great in the movie,
He's
but
great
Paul
in
Gross, Molly Parker, Peter Outerbridge, yeah.
Well, let's get to some honorable mentions because I think Erin has some. How many didn't get
I
said?
do have some. So these two honorable mentions are more kids movies, but they're worth watching. The Dog Who
We
Stopped
lost
War.
Jason.
Nope, we did.
I've heard of that. I think.
I saw it as a kid, and I watched it again maybe 10 years ago. So there's a dog, Saint Bernard, is those ones you see in the Swiss Alps with the thing around their neck.
Oh, St.
Anyways,
Bernard.
Saint Bernard, one of those big dogs. It takes place in somewhere in Quebec in a neighborhood. So the neighborhood loves this dog. The neighborhood kids build a big snow fort. Some other rivalhood neighborhood kids are jealous of the snow fort. There's a giant snowball battle. You can see how this will appeal to kids, right?
Yep.
And then during this giant, like if you watch this movie and you think, oh my God, 5-year-old me would totally be down with this, like 5 to 10-year-old me. But then there has to be a message in the movie. So during the war, the snow fort falls and it crushes the dog and the dog dies. And that stops.
I thought this was the war, La Guerre des Tuques, the War of the.
It was. I know it was based on a novel.
Because I vividly remember that dog. Yeah. Oh, that was so sad.
Nope. It's like Old Yeller for 5-year-olds. Not happening for me.
Nope.
Another kids movie honorable mention, The Peanut Butter Solution. Another movie filmed in Quebec. This kid goes into a scare, loses his hair. So then they figure out how to regrow his hair with the peanut butter solution, and then his buddy puts it down below so he can grow some, right? And he gets kidnapped by this evil industrialist who's going to make paintbrushes out of his hair that doesn't stop growing, and hijinks ensues. Yeah,
we actually talked about this film the other day.
Yeah, I brought it up on our show like 2-3 weeks ago. We did weird family films in the 80s and 90s, and I remembered that movie pretty vividly.
Yes, good call.
Cube gets an honorable mention, and so does A History of Violence. I wondered if Kick-Ass should be on there because it's filmed in Hamilton and Toronto, but then you would include things like X-Men and a whole bunch of other things that were filmed in Canada but aren't Canadian movies.
Yeah,
that was a big thing for me. I eliminated a lot of that stuff.
Did I list my number 2?
I don't know. Did you?
Can't remember.
Eastern Promises.
No.
Oh,
you didn't.
no, you didn't say that.
Oh yeah, we got off on James's Hyena Road. That's what it was.
Oh, right.
But yeah, it's History of Violence. Same thing. Viggo Mortensen.
It's a Cronenberg movie as well.
Yeah, that is a great film.
I didn't realize either one of them were Canadian, and then when I saw them in my research, I don't know. I couldn't do it. I couldn't include
They
them.
say Eastern Promises is, and they say History of Violence isn't for whatever reason.
Yeah, but that's what I say. I keep it, factual.
Yeah.
It's got roots, right?
Exactly. Oh, Greg says, James, Hyena Road. Really?
Yes, really.
I've got 3 honorable mentions that did not come up. 2015, 88, another Catherine Isabel film.
You told me about that.
Such a neat take on the revenge flick. 1996, Hollow Point.
Yes.
Tia Carrera, Donald Sutherland. I lent you the DVD, Rob.
I was going to say, that's it right on my desk there. That it's
yes.
Thomas Ian Griffith and John Lithgow. And
yeah, great cast, fun. It's cheesy, but it's a lot of fun. And another one going back to my childhood, but just didn't quite make the cut. 1981's Porky's.
Oh my God! Yes, Porky's. I forgot about that.
That's another part of my childhood for a whole lot of different reasons.
Dang it. Well, I have 2.5. I have Dead Ringers from 1988
Oh,
and The Trotsky with Jay Baruchel. I love that one from 2009. And then my half one is because it's one that I want to watch, and Gavin has preached it. I have to watch it, called The Heater from 1999. So I didn't get a chance to watch it, so it's only a half.
okay.
I'm telling you to watch it based on his recommendation. So it's got to be good, right?
There you go.
All righty. Oh, we saw Erin briefly before he flashed out there.
Yeah, it must be storming because
Yep.
we've all been having issues here. Here we go.
Hey there. I think it is storming, yeah. Because even James froze a couple times. I think I froze a couple times. So,
Yeah.
well, Erin, thank you so much for being on the show with us.
Yes, thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
sir.
Great list.
It's a blast. If you need something to do, I hear there's this thing, look it up, give them a call, because you'll be addicted and you'll have them over all the time. It's fun. Or come to CKX and you can meet him there too.
Yeah, come to CK Expo, check it out, and I can tell you more about it.
Yes, and he can make you wear those goggles and, dream about it
Flying X-Wing.
forever. Well, I'm going to drop a hint for next week. So
Okay.
that you guys are prepped. I already told Erin the topic.
Ooh.
A buddy of mine from the States, he has a podcast. I think it's called Coaching with Ray, and his name's Ray Baxter. He has an interesting idea. What we're going to do is we're going to list our top 5 Star Wars moments and our top 5 Star Trek moments,
Oh,
and we're going to compare.
See, that would be easier to do with Star Wars because there's less of it. Star Trek, there's so much. There's 10, 13 movies. And then there's TOS, the animated series, Next Gen, Deep Space Nine, Voyager.
but we are the movie madhouse, so I think we got to stick to film territory.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Cool. Top 5 Star Wars, top 5 Star Trek.
Yep.
All right.
Moments.
Moments.
You know what?
Moments.
Disregard
On
the
it.
J.J. Abrams movies, except for the third one, which was decent. The other two are garbage.
The second one is the second one is the best. Then the first
second
one, then the
is
third
a
one.
giant piece of shit that shouldn't. Like, if you're a Star Trek fan at all, you'd be like, "What the fuck did they do to Spock?" Like,
It's
seriously.
awesome, and you know it.
No,
I enjoyed the first one.
I'm going to put him up here. Let them guys do it.
I enjoyed the first one. I really enjoy the third one. I have not gone back to the second one.
third
So
one was-
good.
the third one felt like a Star Trek movie.
Benedict Cumberbatch, awesome. Peter Weller,
Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch. I'm Khan. Yeah, big deal. Who the fuck's Khan? Right? They had no idea who he was at that point. So it was dumb for him to try to reveal himself that way.
Star Trek really exists.
And really, by the end of that, haven't they cured all disease in the universe with Khan's genes and the mix of the triple stuff? Like, boom! And they don't need starships anymore. They can just teleport to where they need to go. And the first one was wrong right off the beginning. The size of that ship, they didn't have sizes of that ship till Next Gen, so they doubled the size of the crew that should have been on there. They did it not for any reason other than aesthetics, which was really dumb. And then Spock ship, it was like, J.J. Abrams did make a really good Star Wars movie. He called it Star Trek at first, and then he went back to do Star Wars. Spock ship at the beginning, straight off Naboo. Even how it sounds.
Okay, he's making points here. I got to
Yes,
be
he
up there.
is. Wow.
I've been going for a while. You should have me back for a Star Trek day.
I think we should. Absolutely. Although we won't have Greg, because Greg said, does Star Trek even really exist? Or is it made up of set people left out of Star Wars?
I think it's the opposite.
Well, and see, I'm a Star Wars guy, but I will say Star Trek came first.
I'm a big fan of both. Big
Yep.
fan of both.
So that's next week. Make sure you
Very
tune in.
cool.
Again, Erin, thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you again.
Put it up
Thank you,
one
sir.
time. Get a
All
hold
right.
of it for all your fun stuff. Keep your kids corralled while you're having a fun day or at a wedding. I still think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
But yeah, get a hold of him. And I guess we'll see you next time on the Movie Madhouse. This is Rob.
This is James.
Jason.
And our buddy. Yes, we'll see y'all later.
Toodles.
Bye.
Shut up! It's a man!